I've owned a lot of cars and sold a lot of cars in states where the license plate stays with the car. So in the United States, some states, when you sell a car, the plate goes with the owner. It goes with you, and you put it on your next car. So you could have like a brand new shiny car with old beat up plates on it. And in some states, it's the opposite. In some states, the plate goes with the car, and it just keeps going with the car. So, I've sold cars in states like Texas and California and Louisiana where the plate goes with the car. And of course, you have to, the buyer has to sign a form saying that they'll transfer the plates and you don't have any liability, etc. That's, standard stuff, boilerplate stuff. So you can see your old car. Sometimes you'll see your old car because you recognize the plate and the car, and you'll see it go by, and it's like, well, for me anyway, it's like seeing your old girlfriend, or your ex-wife, if you had the car long enough. So, you see it and you think, oh, geez, that rear quarter panel took a shot. Not liking that. Why, I sure hope, somebody's changing the oil and looking after the car, and I hope it's okay, I mean, I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people. They just look at a car as an appliance. But there are certain cars that I had for a long time. I mean, a long time. Even when I bought another car, I still kept that car because, it wasn't worth that much, all the miles on it, and I just loved it. I'll give you an example. So I had a Mercedes 1992 Mercedes 300E with the 3-liter 6-cylinder W124. That's the model type, and I loved that car. I mean, I loved that car. I loved looking at it. I loved looking at it inside. I loved being in it. I loved driving it. It was a great car and an extremely durable car. When I sold that car, it had, I think, 260,000 miles on it. And I didn't want to sell it, but my wife at the time, not my current wife, my wife at the time, she never liked that car. I loved it, she never liked it. And so I sold it in 2007, I think it was. Yeah, I sold it in 2007. And we were living in the Pacific Heights neighborhood in San Francisco, in the city. And we were like at the corner of Washington and Fillmore. And, I advertised the car, and my phone was ringing off the hook so quickly. And I ended up selling it to the first person that showed up with cash, which was that day, and it was a small Filipino guy. And when he came to look at the car and to drive it, this is how small he was. I would say he was probably about 5'1", 5 foot or 5'1", and he brought with him a seat bolster. He's prepared. so he test drove the car, said he wanted it, and gave me some money for a deposit, and I gave him a receipt, and I said, when do you want to come get it? He said, in an hour. I said, okay, all right. I wasn't really prepared to let it go that quick, but that, those are the breaks. And so he came back in an hour with his wife, who was like 4'9" or 4'8", and they both had seat bolsters with them. Nicest people ever. And they drove it away. They drove it away. They gave me the cash. They drove it away, and I'm telling you, I was depressed. I was really depressed. My wife was happy, but I was depressed. And then, I mean, that guy, man, I mean, he was driving that car all over San Francisco. I saw that car everywhere. I was behind it a couple of times in traffic, like at a light, or I'd see it, I'd see it like coming the other way towards me, and every time, I would get those pangs, those pangs of love, lost love, and I was just thinking, man, stop driving the car so much. You're killing me here, But it worked out because we ended up moving out of San Francisco in 2008 anyway. So, I never saw the car again after that, obviously. But I'm telling you, it's tough, man. When you see your old car like that, it's tough. Maybe not for you, but for me, it was real tough. Really, it was just like, ugh! Just stick a knife in me. And I still regret selling that car. There was no reason for me to sell it. It wasn't worth anything, really. It looked perfect, it drove perfect, but it wasn't worth anything with 260,000 miles on it. I think I sold it for $5,000 because, it looked great and it drove great, and it was a Mercedes. I mean, it looked like it was 2 or 3 years old. There was no reason to resell it. I'd still have it now, I'm sure. That car was built like an anvil. But, marriage is all about compromise, right? Yeah, all about compromise. And so I compromised big time on that one. Anyway, it wasn't just that car, and it wasn't just that state. It's happened in those other states as well, where, you're driving and all of a sudden your ex just, goes by and you're like, oh, man. Anyway, that's it.